1 second, let me finish this. Yeah, go ahead.
I said this whole path. Unless you samadhi.
Okay, now I have muted, so you can speak. No worries. Yeah, go ahead.
I said we came to the Eightfold Path only.
Yes,
Samadhi.
No, Paṭisambhidāmagga talks about Eightfold Path. It gives you the complete description of everything. See, the thing is, two things we need to understand is that this is not by the Buddha. This is by Sariputta. Sariputta has said many of them. So there is a Yuganda Sutta. Okay, and Yuganda Sutta talks about the discussion between Ananda and Sariputta. In that, Ananda talks about what is Vipassana, what is Samatha. He talks about whether Samatha comes first or the Vipassana comes first. And if it's Samatha, you're starting, what happens to Vipassana? And if you're starting with Vipassana, what happens to Samatha? Then there is a third stage where Vipassana and Samatha can be done together. Then there is a person who will have Udacha, that means restlessness, how he can pacify that and how he can do the Samatha and Vipassana. To that, Sariputta then explains, which is part of this Paṭisambhidāmagga. Paṭisambhidāmagga, if you totally take it, it comes to more than 800 to 900 pages if you were to refer to that. It gives you explanation about everything you would like to know about Buddha Dhamma. Just like Sariputta's the Dasuttara Sutta, 1 to 10 into 10 is 100. So he explains in 100 ways. And Sangiti Sutta is another sutta. So it is in Digha Nikaya 33, 34. If you really go through it, you only require these two to get into Arhat. He explains everything. How this should be done, how that should be done, and what should you know, what you shouldn't be doing. He gives examples of everything. So in the Ānāpānasatikatha, what we are going through, what is that we are understanding? I just wanted to give you some clarity. The Ānāpānasatikatha means it's a discourse or a lecture, or it is a detailed description of what needs to be done prior to sitting into Ānāpānassati. So let's say now I want to do Ānāpānassati and I am starting. Now I want to watch the breath. That's the first step, what it talks about in the Ānāpānassati Sutta. So if we go to MN 118, I think it's 118, 117, whichever that is. So we start with Ānāpānassati Sutta. So Buddha talks about how the bhikkhus are and how they have learned, how they have mastered their mind and they mastered their senses, and they're able to practice Ānāpānassati with the in-breath, out-breath. Whereas Sariputta doesn't start from there. Sariputta starts from the hindrances. Okay. He starts with hindrances. He doesn't start with the immediately doing the Ānāpānassati. And most of the when I go for a, let's say, retreat, what happens here is that I am introduced to Ānāpānassati through establishing 5 precepts. So let's say I'm going to the Vipassana Research Institute, VRI, and I follow Goenka. Now what happens in the 10-day course or a retreat? The first day I take the precepts, 5 precepts. I don't speak to anyone. I take 5-day precepts and then I start watching the air coming and going near the nostril area. So from that day to the fourth day, I just watch breath coming and going in the nostril and in the mouth here. This much I cover. And from the fourth day onwards, I'm watching the sensations coming from top of my head to the feet and feet to the top of my head, which all of you almost have attended the Goenka or the Burmese method of doing Vipassana. If you compare that and you go through this Paṭisambhidāmagga, you will come to know a huge difference between what is to be done and what is being done. I'm not saying that is wrong. No, it is not. But there are many things which are missing or they are not done for whatever reason. The first thing which is not done is about how to remove hindrances, how to remove the 5 hindrances. Okay. Some people are able to watch the breath in the nostril area. Some people are able to concentrate here. So it becomes like a one-pointed attention to the nose or to the lips. Whereas what Sariputta says there is not about watching it near the nostrils or the lips. He talks about oneness of the mind. He doesn't talk about the breath. And then he gives an example. If you have read that Paṭisambhidāmagga, there's a section which talks about what is breath. So he explains what is Ānāpāna. Ana is in breath, Apana is out breath. So that portion is right. But then he gives an example. He says, just like a person who is having a tree, is grown to a good height, a level ground, a person takes a saw and starts cutting the tree. He doesn't observe the teeth coming and going of that saw as he's using the hand saw. So he is cutting it. He's only bothered about the touching of that tree, of the trunk of the tree. So he is having the tree, he is cutting it. He is not observing the teeth coming and going, but he is observing, is aware. The sampajanya, the pajanana is being aware is on the touching of the saw to the wood, and he removes the distraction of the saw coming out and going inside, coming out and going inside, and that rubbing portion, he ignores it. He just watches this being cut, the axe going inside and coming out. He ignores it. He is just observing the touching. In the same way, he says, observe the breath coming and going. Don't observe that. The touching portion, you observe it. Just the touching, not about going in, coming out, going in, coming out. Now, when you watch this, what happens? The long breath becomes short. So the objective is to make the breath from long to short and to still the breath. And then you will start seeing the Dhammas arising and passing away. So everything arises and passes away, which is what he explains what is anicca. There is a question asked. What is this anicca? And he says, Upada Vayatena anicca. So Upada means producing. Vaya means diminishing, going, or ceasing, or we can say passing, or whatever English nearest word that can be put. So let's understand this. Let's say there is 1 million breaths that we are breathing in our life, as an example. As much as the breath is coming and going, that much of the breaths are lost. So 1 million was there, and then it keeps on reducing and reducing and reducing and reducing. In some books, where instead of calling it as diminishing, they use the word as aging. Breath is not aging. It's reducing. Your breath is reducing. If you can watch, like I had my wife's uncle, we had gone to the hospital. Some years ago, I had gone to the ICU, and he was brain dead, but his body was functioning. So myself and his sons, we were watching him on the bed, and the body was shaking, and his breath was going weird till the breath stopped. So every one of us are going to have the first breath, and we are going to have the last breath. And that is dukkha, because the kayatena anicca bhayatena dukkha, that means it's a fear. So in that Paṭisambhidāmagga, especially Ānāpānassati, he talks about what you should see. You should be able to see three things: anicca, dukkha, anatta. So the breathing is a process. So there's no person out there. You need to watch the breath touching your nostrils, and it slows down. Once it slows down, you can see the dhammas arising. Anything that is coming is a dhamma. Majorly, whatever comes there is a dhamma which is having anicca nature. The breath has an anicca nature. When you start observing, the breath reduces, reduces, and reduces, and it stops. So he says rasam, meaning short. Dhigam means long. When it is long, it is heavy. When it is short, it is light. So pasambhayam kaya sankharam. It's calming. The breath calms. So that means you're out of the kaya sankhara, which is asa and passa. Why? Because the vitakka vichara is not there. That is, the thinking and pondering is not there. There's nothing to think. There's nothing to ponder, because you're watching the dhammas. The chakku and the rupa, to everything is a dhamma. So anything that comes is a dhamma. And being watchful, being aware of the dhamma, is where the hindrances come. So either I get it as a kamachanda or vyapada or thinamida or udacha kukkucha or visikiccha. These are the 5 hindrances that comes when I am watching the breath. Either it will not become short, it will not stop, or I'll go drowsy, and then my head will start to go down because I'm sleepy. The reason why I'm sleepy is because it is thinamida. The mind is totally in a sleepy state. So out of these 5 hindrances, you have 5 senses. The first sense is the what we can say saddha, which is faith. The second one is the virya, which is energy. The third one is the sati, which is remembrance or mindfulness or whatever that can be called in English. And the fourth one is samadhi, being in an equanimous state. And the fifth one is panya, which transforms itself to wisdom. Now, I need to thank Richard for bringing it out that, okay, should we do the establishment of precepts if already there? So that is how this whole topic started. So what I need to do on a daily basis is to look at the 5 hindrances and 5 senses and 5 bala. Bala means the strength. So first and foremost, I need to see the 5 hindrances and see the senses. If the senses are going up and down, it will create problem. Now, what problem it creates? Let's look at it. If I don't have sati, that means remember to watch the breath. Remember to cut kama chanda. What happens here is that my mind takes kama chanda itself as a subject for meditation. So I'm going to get thoughts of kama chanda. When the thoughts of kama chanda comes, it comes along with the feeling, vedana. So that will be of kama chanda, and then perception of kama chanda. So we're going to get all the 3. It's not going to be one. It's going to be all the 3. Now in that case, I need to do the asubha bhavana meditation before getting into samatha or vipassana. That means I have to stop Ānāpānassati, get into the 32 body contemplation as indicated in the Satipatthana Vibhanga. That is the best book to have rather than the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. The difference between these two, I'll tell you. In the Satipatthana Sutta, the explanation is that you already know what is Sampajanya, you know what is Pajanana, you know what is Samadhiti, you know everything about it. So it is a condensed one. But I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what is Sampajanya as an experience. I don't know what is Pajanana as an experience. Because number one, it is Pali. Number two, I don't have a perfect English syntax or the nomenclature to say what exactly it is. Even in Indian languages, it is difficult to explain what it is. So now I might intellectually understand what is written there as English. So it can be called as awareness, mindfulness, or whatever it can be called. That's only 2 words we can use for everything, basically. But it is not that at all. So I need to really go detailed and see what is the difference between Sampajano and Pajanana. I need to do both of them. Then I can understand what is happening. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand what is happening there. So if I am having kama chanda, that is when I am sitting and I am able to only make out some objects coming and something is coming, I need to stop Ānāpānassati and contemplate on the 32 parts of the body contemplation using Satipatthana Vibhanga in the Vibhanga section. Now, what's the difference between this? I can read in English about Satipatthana Sutta, go to the subject of where he says Kesa, Loma, Nakha, Danta, all that, that is hairs and body hairs and all that, and come to the Satipatthana Vibhanga and go detailed into it. This is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is that what Owen had sent about MN62, the Rahula explanation of the sutta. That is a very good one where he has covered the same thing. He talks about, look, first refer to Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, these 5 aggregates. First watch them as Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, or don't take it as mine, this belongs to me, and this is myself. Now I say, look, I'm not able to do it. I'm not able to really get that. Then where should I go? I need to get into the Satipatthana Vibhanga. But if I'm able to get this, Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, 5 aggregates, I'm able to get that, then I am ready for Ānāpānassati. Now where should I start? Where should I start is at a place where it says Anupasana. What's the meaning of Anupasana? From there I need to start. So in that section, I can skip the first few sections because my mind doesn't have any hindrances any longer. So he talks about 8 things which are hindrances and 8 things which are not hindrances. He talks about 16 kinds, and then he keeps on explaining so many things. I can skip it. because that's not the state of my, that's not my mental state. I can straight away come to the explanation part about what is this, like that. I can come to Anupasana. When I come to Anupasana, he talks about it is Anupasana means first starting with anicca, then experiencing dukkha, then experiencing anatta, then experiencing nibbida, then experiencing viraga, nirodha. So he talks about that. This is Anupasana. So kaye kayanupassi viharati means the Anupasana of these in the breath. So asapassa should include all of these factors, not about just watching the breath. I have watched the breath and that ends there. So it has come to an equal. The breath has become equal. Equal in the sense what? If I touch it here, it's very thin, very calming. It doesn't have any shaking. So now I can sit. Then watch the Dhammas arise. Like a person taking a camera, watching a tiger. And the tiger is supposed to come and he wants to click the photographs of the tiger coming. This tiger will not come if there is any sound. So in the same way, this person is sitting there and watching. As the Dhamma arises, he sees it as anicca. That is, it's arisen, it is going to pass away soon. So he can see the three conditions: arising, staying, and passing away. In some places, he talks it as the state of Upada Tithi Bhanga. It's in Pali. If we were to make it into English, Upada means, sometimes it is spoken as arising, but it is actually Upada means to produce. You producing, it stays for some time. So here the breath, when it touches, it stays and comes out. Objective is to just watch the breath staying there. Other two, it's automatic. It comes and goes and comes and goes. Everything comes and goes. There's nothing in this which doesn't come and doesn't go. Everything comes and goes. So there is a Upada Tithi Bhanga. Bhanga means destruction. So this breath which has gone in doesn't stay there. It comes out, gone. A new breath comes. It touches, stays there, and it's gone. A new breath comes, just like the river. The water is continuously flowing. So this Upada Tithi Bhanga can be seen there also. Another easy method is to, when the in breath is coming, you watch as though the sea water is receding back. And when the out breath is coming, you see the water is coming back to the shore. This gives you the same effect of what you are watching. Some people cannot watch the touching because of any one of the hindrance. And then you can make your mind like water receding back, and slowly it is coming back and receding back, coming back. After a while it stops. That's the time when you are ready for really watching what is happening. So then I can go to each one of these sections. And that means before I get into the Ānāpānassati, I should have gone through this Paṭisambhidāmagga completely, at least once. It takes around, if I were to read it, it takes around 2 hours. At least completely read from top to bottom. Then relax. Then look at the hindrance. Then look at the sila, which is the morality. Then watch the breath, stops. Then watch the dhammas. And then I get panya. So out of the 5 indriyas, I have the saddha, which is the faith. I am sure that will lead me to the nibbana with 32 steps. That is 16 on one side and 16 on other side. The 16 represents in-breath, the 16 represents out-breath. So it's 32. Another way to see it is that Anicca Dukkha Anatta plus 12 into 2. 12 of Assa, 12 of Passa into Anicca Dukkha Anatta, which becomes 72. So I can either do it by 32 or I can do it by 72. Now, when should I use 32? When should I use 72? I should use 32 when my mind is completely able to go one by one and reach the Vimukti, which is Nibbana. Or my mind is not ready yet, then I contemplate on the Anicca Dukkha Anatta into 3. That is 2 of these 3. Assa Passa, 24 into 3 is 72. Now this one is longer, this one is shorter. So what is covered in the Ānāpānassati Sutta is shorter. Sariputta gives both. One on the shorter, where he says that what is the meaning of long breath, what is the meaning of short breath, what is the meaning of Anupasana, then what is the meaning of when you are calming your body, what it means, what are you calming your body. Then when you are calming your mind, what it really means calming your mind. Then when you are observing Pasiddhi, what that really means to you. What is Piti? What does it do to you when you say you are in Piti? What really happens? Like that he gives till Vimukti. It's a beautiful one. If we really go through each one of them and see it, it becomes easy for us to experience the Ānāpānassati and reach the Nibbana. And he explains what is Nibbana also. Meaning, how do I know I have reached Nibbana? And that's the reason I sent that this morning, what it means by Nibbana, what it really means. And that much is sufficient. It's only about Anicca Dukkha Anatta, that's all. There's nothing other than that. Once we are able to see Anatta or experience Anatta, when you know it's only the process, there is no person, there is no personality. So when we look from a Sotapanna standpoint, or the Sotapatti Phala, that is a fruit of a Sotapanna, first fruit, first step in the fruit is that he has complete clarity on the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. No matter whoever says whatever, his mind is not going to go shake into something else and he goes towards that. He knows what is a Buddha, what is a Dhamma, what is Sangha. And hence Sariputta talks about list of what is Buddha. And he also talks about who is a bhikkhu. And he also talks about what is a Puttujana. He talks about every definition there. So let's say I am a Puttujana. I have been introduced today to Buddha Dhamma. So now I am being told that there is Anicca, there is Dukkha, there is Anatta. Now the problem is on the impermanence and suffering and non-self. That is not the meaning what is there in the Paṭisambhidāmagga. So it gives us clarity that anything that arises and passes away is Anicca. Yes, English we can call it as impermanence, but it has got when it is impermanence we cannot see it arising and passing away anyway. So we can see the breath arising and passing away, but I cannot call it as impermanent. Anatta is got nothing to do with non-self. It means that there's no personality over there. There's nothing like a person sitting there and breathing. If there is no problem with the breathing, the person is alive. If the problem comes on breathing, the person might not be alive. He needs to go to hospital and he needs to be treated, or he's dead. What it means, there's a problem with the process. There's no person out there. So we can see these two. So when I watch it in that way, I get the confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. And when I get that, the second one is the Sila Vitta Paramasa, which means that I believe in the rites and rituals that I feel by following this kind of rituals, this kind of tradition, this kind of way of doing, that it's going to get me Nibbana, or I can get into Arhat, or whatever it should be. And I'm clear that that is not the path. So the Sila Vitta Paramasa will go away. That means the following it as a ritual, as just because I've been told to do it, I'll just do it without putting my investigation. That is Vipassana. So I'm not doing that. So that is what I need to be doing. So for that, I remove that Sila Vitta Paramasa. This is out of 10 fetters, the second fetter is gone. Now I really watch the process. Breathing is a process, circulation is a process, excretion is a process, assimilation is a process, digestion is a process. So every damn thing is a process. Getting hungry is a process. Getting filled up is a process. Drinking water is a process. Urinating is a process. I mean, everything is a process. If the process is failing, that means a condition failed. So you need to fix the condition because it's conditioned. Now I can see the conditionality, law of conditionality. So when I see the law of conditionality, I can see what is Rupa, what is feeling, Vedana, what is Sanya, a perception, what is Sankhara, the willful actions or the volitional action, and what is Vijnana, the conscious way of taking things. Just like if I were to call myself Vilas, it's a 32 part of the body. Just for conventional, I can call this as Vilas, but actually knowing truly to be, it's a different parts of the body. That's Rupa. Feeling what I get is Vilas. That's a feeling. Perception says that since I have been called as Vilas from the time of my birth, so I feel I am Vilas. The Sankhara, what I am doing either through body or through speech or through mind, qualifies all the three kind of Sankhara, which I don't know, it is Anicca. Sabbe Sankhara Anicca, but I don't know that. Why? Whatever I have done from my childhood till today has all passed away. So it has arisen, it's passed away, including the class what I am doing right now. It's arisen at 8:30, now that is gone. That's recording is happening, but that whole thing is gone. So it keeps on arising, going, I can see that. Now I know there's no person, and hence I get rid of Sakkaya Ditti. Sa means self, Kaya is the collection, Ditti means view. Generally, I regard the body and mind as myself. So this is mine, this belongs to me, this is myself. I belong, I am in this body, I am this mind, or the mind and body exist because of me, or I am part of this body, something like that. There are different conditions what Buddha talks about when a person thinks. It's there in the Chula Vedala Sutta, it's also there in Mahavedala Sutta on different condition what a person puts to say that he is. Also that is there in the Chachakka Sutta, and many other suttas talk about how a person, and also in the Dhatu Vibhanga Sutta, and there is another sutta, Mahatanha Khaya Sutta. In that sutta also he talks about how a person falsely takes it as feeling as himself. And also in the Nidana Sutta, if we were to go through again, he takes that. What it means is that I feel it because I feel I am so and so person, and I perceive it because I've been told I am so and so person. So that whole thing is gone. So I can now confidently see the past and the future and the present is only this Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, or the five aggregate. So there is no Upadana. At that moment, what happens? Your mind is still, and hence in Nibbana. But that is a very short duration, that at that moment, whenever you are in the 5 aggregates, not upadana, grasping aggregates, it's just 5 aggregates, you attain Nibbana. But again, when the upadana starts, the Nibbana is gone. Again, in the hindrances, if I start working, it reduces the possession because there is now nothing to possess. And since there is nothing to possess, what happens in the Ānāpānassati is that I start to see really what is happening. So I see anicca in 2 ways. Anicca is coming as 5 aggregates. Anicca is coming as arising and passing away. So now I see Rupam anicca, Vedana anicca, San anicca, Sankhara anicca, Vijnana anicca, and I see everything in that way. There's no person. So when that goes away completely, which has reduced or it has almost gone in the Sotapanna state, in the Sakadagami state, the possession is not there. So I get the Sakadagami phala, which is the fruit. Then in the Anagami state, I will not have the Kamachanda and Vyapada. Those two are not there because the Moha is not there. That means I have already mastered Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta, Asubha. These 4 Lakhana. I am able to see it in everything. So then there is nothing to hate anyone. There is nothing of a liking for anyone. So there are 2 extremes. One of hating, one of liking is gone. It's dropped. So the mind is in samatha. Sama and tha. Sama means equal. Attha means one who is not having to be blamed for anything. He doesn't take sides. That is samatha. And vipassana is all about anicca, dukkha, anatta, asubha. That's all is vipassana. So when I attach both of them, the samatha and vipassana in the Ānāpānassati, mind goes totally into the vimukti and it can stay there. Now, Khanika vimukti means that momentary vimukti, and it's a complete vimukti, meaning to say that at any point in time you can stay in that vimukti. That means when walking, when talking, when sitting, when standing, and that is when the sampajanya comes into existence. That means in all the postures, the mind is not going in any directions. It is still. It is able to transact with the people, but it is not taking an ownership that I am doing it. That is not there. And hence, raga, dvesha, moha. That raga is the desire to enjoy something, the dvesha is to feel bad of things which has not happened, and the moha of delusion, of not knowing the reality, which is this tilakkana, which is anicca, dukkha, anatta. And while seeing this, you can see the entire Paṭisamutpada cycle appearing completely, including Nama Rupa and Vijnana, Vijnana Rama Nama Rupa. So you're able to see that, how the name happens, how the form happens, how the consciousness makes the name and form. You're able to see that. So when we are able to see that, this Ānāpānassati itself takes you to Arhat Phala Samapatti. So this can be done from the entry level stages, a sekha, with 3 kinds of people, all sekha, which is the Sotapatti Magga, then the Sakadagami Magga, Anagami Magga, all the 3 are sekha. And the Arhat is the person who is noble completely. He has done what he is supposed to do. So this person can now reside in doing what needs to be done. So Paṭisambhidāmagga is one which can really give you clarity on every topic or every definition, and that helps us to do the Ānāpānassati in a better way. If we were to just do as we are doing without really grasping the true meaning of it, I'm not saying we are not doing it correctly, we are doing it, but for Nibbana, we need to have clarity on where to start, what's the state of my mind at that moment. So now if I'm able to do right now, I need to check what is the state of my mind, what hindrances I have, or which aspect I'm breaking. If I'm breaking any of the precept, I need to fix that. If I'm in kind of hindrances, I need to remove the hindrance, and then I can come into this. So I wrote down as much as I could. I think, I don't know whether so much of details what I've written really helped you or not, but whenever I was getting it, I thought, let me not forget. So I kept on sharing it. Okay, so at least it gives a, I will not forget, at least even for me to read as well, because I am now going through the documentation, writing it down, trying to experience it before I see what is happening. There's another section called as Yuganda, which I am doing it. That I am not introducing it to you. Let me first finish this and get into Yuganda. Both of them, let me go through it, experience it, and then I can say how to start that. I mean, how do we, or where do we start, or what do we do about this, so that all of you can gain from what Sariputta has written. It's a beautiful one. I've been thinking about it for long, and thanks again to Richard that question what he asked me, that made me think what he's saying is right. I mean, he has attended the retreat, he has done everything, and he is wanting to attain Nibbana, and his question is clear, that why I'm following all of these, I'm doing this, and his teacher has taught him correctly. There is nothing that he has not explained him of the Burmese tradition. But on the tradition and the Sariputta, we need to take both of them. Whether we are following Pa-Ok tradition, or we are following the Sayadaw tradition, or we are following Ajahn Brahm or Ajahn tradition, or we are following the Visuddhimagga. Most of them follow the Visuddhimagga. There is nothing wrong in that, but then we need to see where we are on that Visuddhimagga with this, and see whether it's making sense. And if it, I'm not saying Visuddhimagga is wrong. There are some sections of the commentary which are not in line with what Sariputta says, or even in line with what Buddha says. Now, we cannot condemn that, because it is wrong to condemn it, but then we need to compare and see if it is working through Visuddhimagga, very good. If it is not working through Visuddhimagga, we have to go through this Paṭisambhidāmagga. It seems like a commentary, but it is not. Paṭisambhidāmagga is not a commentary. Paṭisambhidāmagga is about analytical knowledge and how to reach the Noble Eightfold Path. That is the three kinds of people. One kind of people who has panya, another person who has samadhi, another person who has sila. So the method forward is that if somebody has good sila and he doesn't have any panya, he better does samatha to begin with. If somebody has not good sila but only panya, then he knows intellectually but he doesn't know how to apply it. Again, he has to come back to sila, because samadhi will not get established. Then somebody knows how to establish samadhi. He is able to get into the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana through breath. He doesn't know anything else other than that. And he is not able to go up. Third jhana is getting the sukha. So he is totally obsessed with the sukha. And there's a problem, because the sati is broken and the panya is not happening. So he needs to fix the sati and panya. Oh, sorry, sila and panya. He needs to fix both of them. So what Buddha talks is that take it, all the three will help each other. But starting point is the sila, middle portion is the samadhi, the last portion is the panya. Objective is reach the panya. That's the objective. So whether we reach through Ānāpānassati or we reach through any other sutta or any other way of doing it, Visuddhimagga way of doing it, no worries. Absolutely good. So somebody had sent me the Pa tradition. He or she wants me to get into that. So I have not got into it because earlier I used to go through it, and then I felt this method is better enough for me. So I have directly gone into the Sutta way. But that doesn't mean that the Visuddhimagga is totally wrong. No, that would be a wrong thing or a blame given for no reason. It is not. It is very nice one. Visuddhimagga, the path of purification by Buddhaghosa, is very good. Some of the sections don't make sense because there is a conflict between what the Sutta says and what Buddhaghosa says. Maybe he has experienced in one way and he has included that, as since it's a commentary, the whole thing is a commentary. It's a nice to take what is working out well. Like in cases where somebody's mind is totally fluctuating, better to go through Kasina. The 10 Kasinas, that's the best thing to do because the mind is totally gone haywire. So it is good to go through the Kasina, but not that Kasina has to be mandatorily be followed. So we have to watch our mind and see the hindrances, see where we are on the 10 immoral deeds, consider these two factors and then apply accordingly. And it works. It definitely works. Whichever tradition we follow, Pa tradition we follow, or we follow the Thai tradition, or we follow the Sri Lankan tradition, or Vaharaka tradition, or this tradition, whichever tradition, it shouldn't really matter at the end. But when we are beginning, when we are not getting what we are getting through those traditions, it's better to come to the original one and investigate. So the best place to investigate are two. One is Vibhanga, it's a big one, Vibhanga. And the second one, that is part of Abhidhamma. Vibhanga is in Abhidhamma. And Paṭisambhidāmagga is in Khuddaka Nikaya. There are minor section called a Khuddaka, means minor, but before the Milinda Pahana, which is the questions and answer of Milinda, you get this Paṭisambhidāmagga, and it's a huge one. It starts with the Mahavagga and all that. So Mahavagga means bigger section. So what we are now reading is one of the section in the big section, that is Ānāpānasatikatha is the biggest section in that entire section of Paṭisambhidāmagga. I am not asking you to read the whole thing. Wherever you have doubt, question that what does it mean by this? So you just type it out, Control F on your computer, search for that word. Let's say anicca. You just give anicca, you get 49 explanation on anicca. Or you just give upada vaya, upada, just give that, you get only 2. And then you go there, it says what is anicca, where do you apply? Then you can look at jhana, it says what is jhana, how should you do jhana. And then if you want to look at vipassana, it explains what is vipassana. You want to look at what is samatha, because these are the terms what we use. So it gives you explanation on that. It also talks about Anupasana. So when we say Vedanupasana, what it really means to experience feeling, what is there to really experience this feeling. And the question comes is, who is the feeler? Because if it is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana as 5 aggregates, what is there to feel then? So that clarity also comes from what Sariputta explains. So a little portion by Ananda gave a complete discourse by Sariputta, which talks about to all the monks. There were senior monks, the junior monks, and the novice who were sitting there. And Ananda's explanation was very brief on what Buddha spoke. Whereas Sariputta, considering the novice to everyone, he gives this Paṭisambhidāmagga, which talks about from the initial, what should I do? If I were to do Ānāpānassati, what should I do? He starts from there. He explains what are the different kinds of hindrances to completion. In fact, if you keep on going down, he explains every every definition in that, the sub definitions. Let's say there's one definition which talks about what is loka. That I had sent it. There are 33 loka. Now he says Vinaya loke abhijja domanasan in the Māsatipatthana Sutta. Now loka, world. In English, we just make it world and there ends the matter. But it is much beyond that. It's just not the world. Why this world comes here? Because we are setting the world in the Ānāpānassati. So we need to know which world it is entering into. The mind is entering into what kind of world. So it will be good to know that. So I sent you another sutta relating to that, which talks about the out of 33, there are 18 worlds what Buddha gives clarity. Buddha gives clarity. So I sent you that. I'm not saying that you should be reading it today or whatever. You can look at it later. Once you get a hang of this, you can go through that. So maybe we will do this complete. Let me finish it by another 4-5 days. I think I should be done with writing it. Then we will exactly go step by step and do it together. I don't know. I'm the only guy speaking, so you can ask whatever little bit I have learned from the Paṭisambhidāmagga. I can answer.
I did have a question. I'm just going to look at the sutta again to find the exact spot.
Yeah, sure. That's a good thing to do. And in that section, that whole thing gives you explanation about everything. So whatever English is there, at least 60-70% is good, or even more than that is good. You will get a doubt on how this works, that you make a note of it, try it out. If it works, good. Otherwise, we can meet up and we can have a discussion on how to see that. And hope you got a clarity on what is Nibbana. I had sent you about Nibbana, and also had sent you about what is Pali. That also I had sent it. Hope you got some clarity on what is Pali.
It is hard to find just trying to look for it again, but
Yeah.
I will
I
go
think,
over it and I will make notes of it.
Yeah, sure. Because today I have written so much. I have never written this much in my so much of this one. Today I thought that as I started getting it, I thought let me keep on writing it. So I started doing that. See, now in this case, there is about loka. So that you don't have to read it right now because that will be confusing at this stage. But I thought, let me send that up also about loka. And samatha I have sent it. And then Paṭisambhidāmagga means what, I have sent it. Then Pali, then in the Paṭisambhidāmagga there are 4 things. Atha means meaning, Dhamma means the teachings, Nirupti means the etymology, and Patibhana is appearance, how it appears as an idea. So now, did you get the idea? We use the word, oh, did you get my idea? And then the other person says, yes, I got it. Now I understand. So Paṭisambhidāmagga will give you the complete idea of Buddha Dhamma. Okay, and then Nibbana. Anicca sabba sankhata dukkha anatta cha kevala nibbanam cheva panyati anatta iti nichaya. Nichaya means my decision. This is the decision what I have taken is when you are Nibbana, when you are saying I'm in Nibbana, what happens? So he says that you will be able to see all conditioned is anicca, and because it is anicca, it is going through the dukkha and anatta. So you will come out as anatta. There is no atta at all, and hence Nibbana. Richard, in the starting, he had spoken one day he experienced anatta, and that's perfect meaning of Nibbana. Yes, Richard, go ahead.
The problem in this insight is always, it happened to me maybe 5 times.
Right.
But I was not meditating. I was just watching TV. And suddenly everything was seeing phenomenally. And I was in freedom, completely in freedom.
Yes.
But it only happened in 1 second before I didn't know that it happened. I can not think about it. It is like a present.
Yes, absolutely. See, this is where the hindrance would be, Richard. So one thing, while you are watching TV, it can happen anytime. While eating, it might happen. It might happen while you're taking bath, or it might just happen while you're cleaning something. Suddenly you are gone, and that's the greatest feeling you can have. All of a sudden, you will have a deathless feeling. That is, there is nothing called as birth. There's nothing called as death. You don't feel anything at all. Now, why you cannot stay in that state, or why I cannot stay in that state, is because of the hindrance. They come, and when the hindrance come, you cannot get back to that state. You have experienced it, but you cannot go back to it. Okay, now what you need to do is to check which is the one which is hindrance. And that only you will come to know. Nobody else can come to know your hindrance. So out of 5 hindrances, you need to check which is the one which is blocking it. And that one, if you fix it, you will be in that state.
When I think I always make mistakes, because it is so obvious and so easy.
Yes, absolutely.
That I just went to sleep, and this is the mistake. When it happens, I should deepen it. I should not go sleep, not nothing. I should stay as possible in this state. Yeah. And make the same mistake that it is so obvious and so easy.
Yes.
That you mean it's stay like that, but this is not true.
Yeah, because there is a lacking of the virya, which is energy. So what happens, that has happened to me as well some time ago. When you experience it, the mind let go, so there is no you anymore, but that doesn't make you fix on that. It just goes away. Or it comes up with 3 hindrances. One, I want to be in that state which causes the restlessness, so I get into udacha. Okay. Or I get into thinamida, which is sleepy. So it makes me go to sleep. I'll just sit like this and I'm enjoying it, which is a hindrance. The third one is that I don't know how did I do it. Okay. Again, I have to see what did I do, or what did I didn't do to this to happen. So when I'm sitting on a formal meditation, sometimes it doesn't happen because I'm so watchful. That is, I'm putting so much of energy that it doesn't happen. Or when I'm not really putting any energy, but I'm just watching something, like what you are saying. Now I'm watching something on my computer. So if I keep on watching it, after some time the eye goes away. So I'm able to sit in a most happiest state. But distraction is there. So now when I see something, there's a distraction, and immediately the hindrance comes back. So in the Paṭisambhidāmagga, he talks about hindrances. So you remove the hindrance, everything is easy. So you have got it. I can tell you, Richard, you have got it. You just have to work out on the hindrance and it will work for you.
This is what you call Nibbana when you are in this state.
When there is no I, it is Nibbana. And that is why I sent that a small clarification from the Buddha, which talks about what is Nibbana. So he says here, Anicca Sabba Sankata, all conditioned are Anicca. Dukkha Anatta cha Kevala. It is Kevala means it's only Dukkha and Anatta. Nibbanam Cheva Panyati. Panya is the wisdom. When you get the Nibbana as the wisdom, when Anatta iti Nichaya. Nichaya means as a decision. When you are in Anatta completely, there is no I anymore. You only see aggregates arising, passing, nothing else.
I have one question.
Yes.
Usually, in general, when you see something wrong over the years, and suddenly it happens situation when you see it clearly how it really is, then your mind make correction, and from this point you see it always clearly. But what I understand is when the mind was in the situation that was the anatta, and you see there is no self, the mind, it's not a connection and make it permanent.
No, there is nothing called permanence. See, the thing is, Nibbana is also not permanent. So in the Mula Pariyaya Sutta, Buddha talks about 24 things where he adds Nibbana also. The only thing you'll find is Nibbana is unconditioned and everything else is conditioned. Okay, now one second. Now what is unconditioned and what is conditioned? Unconditioned is there is no arising and passing away. Okay, that means there is no special cause, but there is the Paṭisamutpada is ended, and then you are in Nibbana. So when you are watching the TV, avijja is gone. For whatever reason, how it went away, you have no idea, but it has gone. So avijja pachay sankhara, sankhara pachay vinyana, vinyana pachay namarupa, like that the entire dwelling cycle is broken at one place, whichever place it got broken. So you immediately get into Nibbana. Now when you are in Nibbana, there is nothing arising and nothing passing away. So since you don't exist, you can neither make it permanent nor you can make it as impermanent. You just watch everything like a flowing river. It just passing away. It doesn't do anything other than that. Now, let me explain to you in a language which is more easy to understand. So let's see, I am now seeing your face. If I am not in Nibbana, I see you as Richard. But when I am in Nibbana, I see you as 5 aggregates. So now it is not about what mistake I am doing or what mistake you are doing. I don't have any raga, dvesha, moha at all. So it doesn't make me hold on to anything. So there is no upadana. If there is no upadana, there is no bhava, that is to become. If there is no becoming, then there is no jati. There is nothing like taking a birth in that condition. There is no conditional birth. If there is no conditional birth, then there is no aging, and then there is no death. So what I mean to say is that if I take Richard very seriously, that he is speaking like this, then I am doing an upadana. The upadana because of the tanha, craving, and craving is because of the feeling. So now I feel Richard is talking to me in this way. So now I have this craving to satisfy your question. Now because of that I am holding on to it. That let me give you as much information as possible. Then I become bhava. So I become that. I have to become something. And then that creates jati. But when you are in anatta, there is no becoming. So you just feel still. So there is nothing to lose, nothing to gain, basically. So you can't correct or you can't make it right. So what Buddha says is that how to attain Nibbana is drop the condition. How does the condition comes to be? By raga, dvesha, moha. So if at that moment of your watching the TV and you have neither raga nor dvesha nor moha, immediately the atta is gone. So you become anatta. It becomes anatta. So you what this guy who is that Eckhart Tolle, he has written living in the present. Yeah, about the book on his presence. You will exactly experience that. Where you are in present, there is nothing in the past, nothing in the future, nothing at all as you. It's just arising and passing and arising and passing and arising and passing. Nothing else is there. The most comfortable state. So that's a maximum. It's again anicca. So that's the reason your teacher has said that in the end you'll only find anicca. Because that's the only thing which remains.
So I have a question about what has been said.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Nibbana will come about if the conditions are not, or if no conditions are present, but Nibbana won't stay unless the roots of those conditions are cut.
No, it's not like that. See, Nibbana is conditionless or condition. There's no condition. So there are 4 truths, right? The Samuchi Satcha means conventional reality, and Paramatma Satcha means actual reality or the real one. So there is only Rupa, Chitta, Chetasika, and Nibbana, 4 things. The first 3 things are condition based, and the 4th one doesn't have any condition. When the condition is removed, you are there. It's just like saying darkness and light. When the light comes, the darkness is not there. The darkness is a condition for the light not being there. But when the light comes, the darkness is gone. Okay. Taking that as an example, what happens? Rupa, you make a name and form out of it. Like I'm making it as Richard, I'm making myself as Vilas, I'm calling you Owen, and then all the names. Chitta, the one which just lights up, goes through Vijnana, 9 stages. That means it is already corrupted. The Chetasika will have all kind of impressions coming up. So there's 7 universal Chetasika, and there are Akusala Chetasika, there is Kusala Chetasika and all that. But Kiriya, which doesn't give any result at all, those are also there. But they don't come. Unless this is removed, that will not come. So assuming I have understood what is Rupa, and I have understood how the Chitta, that is, I have done the Anupasana and I have taken care of the Chitta, the Chetasika will be only universal Chetasika. It won't be anything different. That means Phassa, Vedana, Sanya, and then Chetana, Ekagata, Manasikara, like that. So I have these 7 Chetasika, which doesn't do anything. It goes along with Asubha also, it goes along with Subha. It also goes along with the Kiriya. So now I'm just doing, it's just doing. There's nothing like doing because of Sankhara. There's no Sankharas. So when that happens, the natural state is Nibbana. Now let's take a perfect example. Taking this, I'm watching the breath, and it doesn't have raga, dvesa, moha. Or this is one way of doing. Another way of doing, I am talking to somebody like all of you. I am not having any impressions at all. I'm just talking because I'm just talking. Just like when in the there is one sutta between an old monk and Buddha. He comes there and he asks that what's the guarantee that you are going to live? What's the guarantee that I am going to live? And Buddha says that, look, you allow me to go and have my lunch. He says that I don't believe that I exist. I don't believe you will be existing. So whatever possible Dhamma, his name is Bahya. So there's a Bahya Sutta. He says, seeing as seeing, hearing as hearing, tasting as tasting, touching as touching, smelling as smelling, thinking as thinking. If you are in that, it's done. If at all you experience it exactly like that, you are in Nibbana. Whether you are talking or whether you are seeing, whether you are doing whatever, it doesn't matter. So there are various approaches to reach there. So generally what Buddha says is that if you are having Sila completely developed, that gives rise to Samadhi, which will remove all the defilements, and then you get the Panya, to see really what things are. Yatha Bhuta Jnana. So now you are able to see what is happening. So there are various ways of doing. Even a Pena Pindupama Sutta, which is there in the Samyukta Nikaya, is sufficient. It talks about what is Rupa, what is Vedana, what is Sanya, what is Sankhara, what is Vijnana. If you are able to get it, that's it. You don't require any other sutta. Because you are going to establish Nibbana, which is unconditioned. But then what happens? You will keep on going there and coming back. You know how to go there and you come back. So when somebody comes, you need to talk, you're out of Nibbana. But when the person goes, you're back in Nibbana. Because you're not attached anything with that person. So there's no raga, there's no dvesa, there's no moha. So and hence, Buddha keeps on saying that raga khayo, dosa khayo, moha khayo, Nibbana. So we can eliminate these 3 from whichever way we take it. So we can take Chula Vedala Sutta or Mahavedala Sutta, this Sutta, that Sutta, whichever it is. Whatever helps, we can take it. And each individual is different. Like Richard is different. His mindset, his training is different. Your mindset is different. My mindset is different. The other 3's mindset is different. So we have no idea what is that we are lacking. So we have to find out the hindrance ourselves and then remove it. Now the hindrance removal, we can discuss how to remove the hindrance. After we know what is our hindrance. So it's like the sky and the cloud. The cloud is holding the sky. It looks as though the cloud is totally taken the sky. On a very cloudy day, you cannot make out sky and the cloud separating out. Now slowly the sky is there only. It has never got conditioned with the cloud, but it looks as though the sky and the cloud both are going together. But the sky remains the sky. It doesn't have any condition. Cloud has a condition. But when cloud covers the sky, it seems as though they both are conditioned. That is how this is. So when there is no cloud, what happens? Can we say sky is conditioned or unconditioned? There's no answer to that, because the sky was always there. The Nibbana was always there. It's not that it came in right now. But because of the condition it was covered. So you remove the condition, then what remains is the Nibbana. That's the most easiest way to understand this. I don't know how much sense we made out of it, but we can play around with the sutras and see whether each one of us can experience Nibbana in one way or the other. So what I'm trying to do for these many months is to keep on delivering sutta for myself and for all of you. Ultimate aim is to get Nibbana and clear the hindrances. That's the idea of doing these suttas, that we clear out the hindrances in as much as we can, because that's in this Paṭisambhidāmagga you can see that he starts with hindrances. If you have gone through it, the first section talks about only hindrances. No, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Richard, go ahead.
I also put this question to one monk. He replied after 3 months, and he replied, not complete praxis, not complete result. I don't agree. I think your explanation is today it's coming something new. I see this similar with the light and dark. Perhaps to it, yeah. But how do you explain? Yeah, I think you do it very well. For me, for my understanding. Yeah.
Thank you. No, you have experienced, Richard. See, there is no doubt. I don't have any doubt that you have not experienced. The only thing is that for you, for me, for Owen, for everyone, we need to know where we are, where the hindrances are. We need to correct that hindrance. That's the only thing.
This is new for me today.
Okay. And then the day before, the last week when you asked me this, that really clicked me, that what is your question? Because you are coming every day, you are investing your time and you are investing your energy and you are putting all the strength to attain Nibbana. Now there is something which is blocking. So I was wondering, what is that which is blocking? So then few months ago, I used to read this on my own because I never found an English translation of the Paṭisambhidāmagga. In fact, I'd asked one, Suyog was there and he left. Otherwise, he had gone to this Mahabodhi temple. So I'd asked him, can you find out from them, is there any book on the Paṭisambhidāmagga in the Khuddaka Nikaya which is in English, translated in English? It will be a thick book, then I can read it, because sometimes I feel bored of typing looking at the Pali and searching in English, or changing from somebody and changing this, changing that. I sometimes feel that why am I wasting so much time when I can understand Pali? I rather do it myself. So this time, after you asked me the question, I felt I should do it. And this will be for my own benefit and also for the benefit of everyone, especially since you asked this question. I thought it will really help. In next 4 days, we will go section by section. And it's not my guarantee. Sariputta's guarantee is that you will attain Nibbana. Or you will know how to do it on your own. Irrespective of whatever condition it is, whether you're making your food, or you're taking bath, or you're going to the garden, you're cleaning your house, or you're doing whatever, you should be in Nibbana. It's possible.
Thank you.
All right, the other two ladies have not spoken at all. Maybe they are already in Nibbana. Okay, so if you don't have any further questions, we can end for today. Namo Buddhaya then. Thank you.
Namo Buddhaya.
Yeah, so we'll again meet up on, today is Monday. We'll try to meet up on Saturday or Sunday, before which I'll complete. Once I finish, I will message and then we can meet up. We'll go section by section.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you then. Namo Buddhaya. Bye-bye. Good night. Good day.
Okay.